And we're back. Man.
Hello there.
I called the Endtimes one because, again, it's clear they're just trying to end it because of all the bad reception. Clearly they're trying to end it.
I'm Loremaster of Sotek. You may be familiar with me from a Twitch and YouTube channel and other stuff where I talk about and focus on Warhammer Fantasy lore and literature, amid some other things. And
I'm starting to see why he got into that kerfuffle with Legend of Total War in the community. Clearly he's glazing them for some reason. Yeah, you would never know. We never know why.
today I'm going to be serving you as the Herald of the Endtimes. But I'm not alone, because I'm joined by Rich, Victor, and Todor, who you are likely familiar with at this point. And today we're going to be chatting about the Lords of the Endtimes. So, to start us off, is this really the end for Total War Warhammer? Like, is this the final thing, which a lot of people have feared is going to be the case?
No, absolutely not. This is just a moment in the Warhammer lifetime, and there's going to be more content still to come after this, I'm pleased to say.
Excellent. That is what I very much like to hear.
Is that all? So what do you mean, like Age of Sigmar, like that? And you didn't really look him in the eye at him for too long. Like, you can tell when someone's unsure. It's not like that he's lying, but you can tell the uncertainty. Like, you'll say you're saying one thing, but you don't really know based off the facial features.
And there's going to be more content still to come after this, I'm pleased to say.
Excellent. That is what I very much like to hear.
No, is that it?
So, getting into the actual content itself, what is the Endtimes going to be bringing to the game that's going to change our experiences for people that are familiar with Immortal Empires and have played hundreds of campaigns? What is the Endtimes specifically going to be doing to shake up the experience?
So, first of all, we're bringing a set of characters. One of them we'll discuss a bit later here. And there is another significant update that comes to the Immortal Empires that aims to bring the Endtimes to your campaign while respecting the rules of the sandbox. So what we want to try and achieve is make the later stages of your campaign more interesting, like keep the choices impactful, keep the stakes high, and we're doing that by introducing end-time scenarios, which you might think are a bit like the current existing crisis, but they're different from them in various ways. Like, for example, an end-time scenario comes in phases. So there will be a build-up, there will be phases of actions, and at the end there is a culmination battle. Well, the entire scenario is resolved, and you might be able to overcome the challenge, the end times. You might be able to survive, or you might fail, and you might have to live with the consequences, or not live at all. An example of such a end time scenario is related to the most powerful necromancer in the world, who at some point might suddenly decide that he wants to exert his will over everything that has died. But to do that, he needs to make everyone dead. So this is something that you need to face and overcome. In addition to that, there are some significant changes while the end time scenario takes place to the visuals of the campaign and in battle, and also to the audio. So you have all this different atmosphere related to Nagash or perhaps Archeon.
Speaking of,
But what are the mechanics of Nagash? And what is the price? Like, I'm not interested in buying any more packs. Like, yeah, they're doing this thing where they think they're this closed ecosystem and people are just gonna keep buying into it. It's like, I don't see any reason to buy any more tiny little shitty content packs. Oh, well, they said there's one free lord, but that's it. I have no interest in buying.
that particular big man himself, while today we are going to be celebrating quite a bit and giving the great
Because look, like, you pay enough into the game, this shit should just be free. right? This should be, you know, their gift to you, the consumer, for continuing to support the game. But they're still trying to milk you, surprisingly. It's like, well, man, I don't. That's just not something I want.
Necromancer his due, as he always deserves. Ultimately, he's kind of interrupting someone else's party, which is the one that kicks off the end times and ends up ending it. Archaon himself, is there going to be anything new, anything exciting that fans of Archaon can be looking forward to with the end times?
I must admit, while I admire Nagash, Archaon is truly the closest one to my heart, and I love playing campaigns with him and uniting the forces of chaos and raining destruction upon the hapless rest of the world. So we are doing new things for Archaon. One of those is we're trying to refresh his entire experience by introducing a narrative feature that aims to put the player into the shoes and boots and mount of the 13th ever chosen. So this will be the story of how you, as Archaon, in your campaign, you bring about the end times. And in addition to that, we really want to update the visuals of Archaon's model, so he receives the proper visual quality that the 13th ever chosen deserves.
Well, it's excellent to know that Archaon's dressing up for the occasion. He needs to. It's technically it's his affair. He needs to look the part, so that's great. But ultimately, we're not really here to talk about him. As much as we all love him, he's a bit old news. We're here for the big man, the big, great necromancer himself, the father of all of our favorite undead. What is Nagash gonna be doing for Total War? Oh my goodness, what is he going to be bringing to the game? Clearly, a lot of teal and destruction and death from the looks of things.
Nagash is the supreme lord of undead, and he would be the ultimate necromancer in our game. He's all about power, dark, forbidden, lost and reclaimed, power to end the world.
But what are the mechanics, man? Again, they're kind of just fluffing this. Like, why would I play him over just any other? Like, I get there's going to be other things, right? But you gotta give the consumer more. You gotta give the gamer more, because these are things the gamer care about. Is he gonna be kind of a pseudo horde faction, or is he gonna be like any other faction until he gets the Black Pyramid? Then he gets completely different mechanics, right? That's kind of what I'm interested. I mean, I get it. You're giving people all this information that they already know if, again, you've played the game, but you gotta give a little bit more of an explanation if you want people to buy it.
Atto, he will also be able to command a vast roster of different undead units from the currently existing ones and some new ones specifically unique to him. And on the campaign map, he will spread death across the land, because he's not interested in conquest. He wants to reshape the world in his image, making it a lifeless desert. This is his ambition, to rule over everything, because this way they're obedient and subservient to him. And we want to give this power fantasy to the player. It's not that you are the hero in this case, you are the end, and this is the power fantasy drenched in the dark tone of Warhammer.
And but what mechanics can you do to enact that? If it's just going to be the same mechanics, only you're just playing as Archaon again, I can see that only the map changes a little bit. Like, why would I pay for that if I can just not pay for it and still get him? Or if you can get all the other stuff but for free.
When playing with Nagash, you will be having these mechanics that allow you to construct necropolises over where vibrant jungles used to be, and the change is permanent there.
What about the actual settlements? Like, can you construct, like, kind of like if, say, one of those settlements have a unique, like, pyramid, does that open a completely separate building chain for that specific, even if it's a minor settlement that you can build up? Or say, okay, you have Nagashazar and you choose to keep it. Are there other things you can get with Nagashazar even if you still have the Black Pyramid? Or are there specific locations you need to take? Like if you decide to fuck with Liboras, or you're eventually going to fuck with Setra, or, you know, you can subjugate fucking Archon the Black. Well, even if you want to go all the way and fuck with the exiles of Nehek for whatever reason, where the Dark Elves are, like, do you get specific new building chains from that? Like, there's ways to give information to where you don't just completely, you know, you still have the player have, like, the new experience, but you just drop bits and pieces. Like, what they've set up until now is nothing to anybody who actually reads the lore and actually seen the video.
So this is how we imagine Nagash to be.
Permanent? Oh, okay.
Well, if you defeat the faction like in totality, you'll be able to revert some of that.
Sounds pretty difficult to get rid of, but such is the power of Nagash. But as a powerful wizard, is there going to be anything special magic-wise, like maybe something new?
Yes,
Like
yes.
his
He
own
comes with his
lore
own
magic.
spell lore,
Yeah.
inspired by the tabletop, and there'll be new spells that are all unique to him, and we'll be making them in a way that plays in the spirit of Total War. So not a direct translation, but inspired and certainly the flavor of the tabletop.
So we hear a lot from beloved and very trustworthy naysayer Manfred von Karstein that Nagash is weak. He's been saying that for years at this point. What is Nagash going to be bringing to the game that sets him apart from our other undead, our vampire counts, Tomb Kings, etc.?
I can give you one thing. He's going to be bringing all of that good stuff that you just mentioned together. So he's going to be in command of the Vampire Counts, the Vampire Coast, and the Tomb Kings. He is the proper puppet master of them all, which I think is going to be a lovely, you know, nod back to what we all enjoyed in Warhammer in the past, having control of all of this undeath.
Yeah, again, to someone who actually knows the lore, that's nothing. I know this. You're just giving me a lot of information that I already know. So I don't get where, like, what's the deal with this is. Like, I think what he's asking is, okay, will there be, like, specific interactions between Manfred or Nagash where you have to kind of go to war with him, and then once you beat the fuck out of him, it's kind of like the ogre mechanic where you can confederate them, and then you can have him as a legendary lord, and maybe he gets new voice lines, right? Like, is that something that can happen? Or, okay, say you're playing Setra, and that happens, and eventually you'll probably just need to fuck off, but after a while, you fuck off to another side of the Warhammer world, build your armies, and you try to beat them the fuck back. Like, it's effectively the apocalypse, right? So it should be treated like the apocalypse, you know? Like, you're holding down the bastion until other forces can come and save you, or you just beat the fuck out of them, period, before they even start. See, that was the problem with a lot of the ultimate in campaign things. If you beat the fucking faction, they should not be able to come back with like 7 fucking late tier armies and just take your shit back because that's boring and stupid. Like, I feel like a better end times would be like, okay, if you destroy that faction, it's completely eradicated. And hell, if in some situations, if all the factions of the end times are destroyed, hell, that's just the way it is. Well, not like the end times. They have like these in game scenarios. It's like if you beat the fuck out of the faction, it just shouldn't come back. You know, because that makes you, the player, like you're being proactive in this sense and in this situation. It's like, okay, so if I'm playing the ogres, that means I'm eventually gonna have to fuck with the vampires that are down to the south. I'll eventually have to fuck with the chaos dwarves, because if I don't, then the end time scenarios comes and they become annoying, or like the orcs. Who else do you have to fuck with? I mean, one of the vampire, like, there's 2 other minor vampire factions that are whatever. Or if you're playing like fucking the Brass Bull, you have to kill the Skavens there, you have to kill the regular dwarfs. I don't think the Dark Elves have an end time scenario. But things like that is what makes the game interesting. Like, how it is now is just, okay, after a certain amount of turns, they just dump a shit ton of units and they're just for free and they just destroy your shit. It's like, well, that's not fun. You know, that's not anything that's, you know, adds to the campaign. It just becomes annoying.
He's also then, as we were talking about before, having that corruption element.
Like, half the time, I just turn most of the scenarios off. Not because I don't want them there, or they wouldn't be cool or interesting, is that it's just annoying.
But once he's seeded himself into this world, he's going to kill everything off, and nothing's going to be able to come back from it. So he's going to be super exciting to play.
That is pretty exciting, but while Nagash, he always stands above the great god of death, he does have to delegate to somebody. Is there any other kind of features or minions or anyone what is he going to be relying upon to bring the world to ultimate silence?
So, first of all, it's important to say that unlike other undead factions that are comprised of different characters with different complicated relations, Nagash's faction is Nagash, his race is Nagash, everything revolves around Nagash and his will and his ultimate ambition to dominate over a dead world. In order to achieve that, he relies on his corruption, he relies over all the variety of undead units that he has under his command. He also relies on the presence of the Black Pyramid, both on the...
So he relies on mechanics that already exist, but what new mechanics are going to be added to him specific that allows him to enact, again, everything you've said prior? If it's just yet another faction with yet another mechanic that exists, oh, and there's another mechanic that already exists, and yet another mechanic that already exists, but it's just given to him, what new things will be given to make him interesting and make him worthy of being literally the Lord of the End Times, outside of just mechanics we just already have for other factions?
Campaign and in battle, you will witness and you will command the Black Pyramid around the world. And
so is the Black Pyramid a moving, like, settlement? Or, like, capital settlement? Or is it, like, is effectively he becomes, like, a horde faction where he can kind of build upon himself? Ooh, grabbing the charger for my phone. Or build upon, you know, I guess his horde army, and that gives him specific units or specific magic, or if it upgrades his magic, or if he can enact specific rules or laws or addendums on other undead factions or on his own lands or on the enemies around him within an area of influence. What new things does he have? I fucking fucked redo SN, okay. Like, this is what the player wants to know. Like, I'll give Sotek this. He's asking legitimate questions, but they're just sort of giving him non-answers to, again, someone like Loremaster of Sotek, who understands the world. And they keep just looking at each other like, motherfucker, y'all should know the answer of these things. Quit looking back and forth at each other. You should be willing to answer these questions and be talking over each other if you're actually interested, and if you're not just up here because it has to happen because you have to steer the already sinking fucking ship that CA deliberately is sinking into the ground.
In addition to that, he has also relies and demands the support of his Mortarks.
So, can he subjugate them? Or can he confederate them? Is it like some sort of technology you need to have them? Or a building that he can construct within the Black Pyramid? Like, what does that mean? How does that translate into the game, into the mechanics, into making him an interesting faction that you're probably... I wouldn't be surprised if they demanded $40 fucking for Nagash or whatever this is. Effectively, price of another game within their fucking game. But how do you justify that? Like, none of these things are justifications to pay that price, especially to a fandom, at least the consumers of which, and you can see this on Steam, that have been very overwhelmingly negative about Total War Warhammer 3.
Who are these special characters that are obedient to him and serve his will. And in the game we're representing, I believe, all of them, Victor?
All 9 of them, the ones that were present in the Endtimes books.
So the canon ones, very fun.
The canon ones, so you can expect that when you play Nagash, they'll be doing their own things that are currently in Total War, those of them that are already there. And in time, when you grow strong enough, you'll be able to exert your will and call them to you. You will be able to choose in what sequence you, in what order you summon them. Some will be easier, some will be harder to dominate. And
so, do you have to just go and beat the fuck out of them? I mean, that's fine. Or will it just be some quest that's just given where you go to a thing and you fight an army? Again, mechanics we already have. Or can he does do this thing where he spends this, again, specific, like, resource to, say, teleport to the capital of the faction if it's still alive? Or can he resurrect an undead faction that has died previously? Like, all these things are running through my head. And I'm pretty sure running through the heads of other people who play Total War Warhammer. But, again, I think there's a way to explain these things to where you absolutely, like, you don't give away too much, but you give just the right amount of information to keep people hooked. Like, he kind of did that there, but it's like, how does that translate? There's like 9 different mechanics in the game where you can quote-unquote impose your will. You can beat the fuck out the major legendary lord, right? You can, I don't know, do what Bretonia does that has just like a research where if you get it, you can spend either a certain amount of chivalry to confederate, a certain amount of money to to confederate, or you can just leave them the fuck alone and gain chivalry and confederate them later. And like that's if the Bretonnian faction's still alive, half of them fucking die. It's like, what or other mechanics are used to do this?
To be able to make them stronger in the process, like when they become his lieutenants, they don't do it out of pure adoration. Some of them do, like Arkan, but others are just tempted by power. So when they become Mortarchs, they will receive new abilities, some stat boosts. Some of them get special mounts, like the Dread Abyssals, that will allow them to ride into battle. And they will also, like, when they join you, they'll be like bringing their lens with you, so to speak, but you'll be draining them of life in the way Nagash does with everything. So.
Coming with a proper
and then that's
upgrade.
interesting, right? I don't just want just any old fucking Manfred the way he is. Like, I want to be able to affect him, like, in certain ways, make him stronger, give him other magics and shit. I mean, that's interesting. Good answer, I suppose.
Great for those Mortarchs, which is very exciting, and probably some goodies I imagine the other undead will be looking to as well, when it makes sense.
Absolutely, we can expect that all these new toys that we're adding, where appropriate, will be receiving all other factions like vampire counts will be receiving access to them.
Well, that's all really exciting. I can't wait to just collect the full set of them. For those of us that have that kind of completionist itch, there's something very nice about having that full little grouping under Nagash's claw. But speaking of other just exciting things that are going to be happening with the Endtimes and or Nagash, what would you say for you personally is going to be the most exciting thing that's coming with all of this exciting new DLC and content?
Well, one itch I've been wanting to scratch is to get the Realm of Chaos battlefields actually into Immortal Empires. As you know, they don't feature within that map at the moment. So this is a new way in which we want you to experience those larger-than-life, colourful battlefields that the Realms of Chaos each have. And there'll be ways for you to transport yourself to those battlefields, to have those epic battles with the adversaries of the demons and the like.
But again, like, that's just, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's an important part, but again, the background setting is literally just that in the background. Like, you should want interesting mechanics, interesting factions, interesting interactions between other factions. Like, say you're, I don't know, Boris, and you're already fucking with Chaos, and then the Endtimes happen. Like, what interactions will Boris have with the Empire if they're still alive? Because at the time, Sylvanian beats the fuck out the Empire. Or what other interactions will he have with Bretonnia? Like, what are these interactions? Like, can you have interactions with the ogres? Because right now they're just sort of things on the battlefield that you have to beat the fuck out of and steal their land, right? Like, I think because the game has quite a bit of mechanics, but there's really no interaction outside of certain quests or diplomacy that doesn't mean anything, right? Like, you'd expect, say, the ogres and that one Cathay guy to have some sort of interaction, or the ogres and Emmerich, right? To have interactions, because they're not exactly, like, friends, but they're forces, neutral forces existing in a specific area, dealing with specific things at that specific time. And again, outside of mechanics, you should be able to influence these things. Like, right now, the only thing ogres have are, like, contracts, and what they give is a little bit of loot, a little bit of positive, what's the word I'm looking for? It just makes the factions like you if the contracts come from them. But then outside of that, you really don't care, because he has, like, Greasus I only played Greece, because I haven't played the other two, because Greece is the best. Like, he has research that can just make everyone at a base like him. You know, just so you can trade with them. And you do that not because you actually care that they like you. It's like, so you can choose when to go to war with the vampire counts that are down there, or when to go to war. Like, say if you beat the fuck out of the orcs, you beat the fuck out of Colex, dumbass, and eventually you're going to have to beat the fuck out of the Chaos Dwarves, or if you beat the fuck out of Tamarcon. It's like, you can choose when to fuck with the Chaos Dwarves, so they don't just choose for you. Like, that's the entire reason to play ogres. Make people like you, not because you actually care, but because you don't want them to be stupid fucking AI and do the thing where, oh, your army's up there, alright, I'm declaring war, taking your shit. Then the minute your armies get there, they're like, okay, we can have peace now. It's like, no, fuck off.
Right, and have a lot of fun there and bring much more life and flair to Immortal Empires.
So having those maps where we're fighting in the realm of Slanesh and
Yeah.
Nurgle and all those horrible but so beloved dark gods.
Exactly that.
Nurgle
just
gang.
to build up a bit on that, like for me as a player, like some of the best battlefield maps we've done is in the realm of chaos, and now that Immortal Empires have become the definitive way to experience Total War Warhammer, I'm kind of missing on those, so I'm glad we're
The
running.
Realms of Chaos for shit. Like, that was such a shit campaign. Like, going into Chaos, like, going into the Realms of Chaos and beating up Be'lakor, like, would never fucking happen. And again, the way it was implemented was absolute garbage, because it's effectively a defend the tower segment. Absolute hot garbage campaign. I don't know if anyone actually legitimately plays it, but it was bad. Don't ever bring that shit up in my presence ever again.
I mean, for me personally, the big thing with this DLC is cataclysmic events, or what we internally call devastation, which you can see.
Oh, is that why Lustria and everything is burning and on fire horribly?
We wanted to show the change in the world in a visual way that is more.
They're really pushing this, but my guy, just the changing the visual of the world, that happens anyway. Okay, maybe it's not as, over the top as this, but that's just one part of what made the Warhammer world good. Like, can we please get off this? I get it. Like, there's talent somewhere. Can we get off this? That's just, we make shit look good. But what are the mechanics of Nagash, or of the factions of Order, or the factions of Chaos, that makes you want to replay the campaign? Or, hell, if I'm the fucking Grease's Goldtooth, I don't really care. What things can I do? Because I've always just found the Order versus Chaos versus this, that, just to be frankly boring. Like, what made Total War good was the fact that, okay, there are other forces that you have to contend with outside of just Order and Chaos. Other factions that just exist in the world and operate within the world and pushes their influence in the world as well. Right? And okay, if you want to go the Order and Chaos route, again, what mechanics do you have to utilize that? And not just making the world look different.
Dramatic than what we currently can do with just corruption. Corruption changes a bit of the environment, but not to this extent. So we'd like, with Endtimes scenario, for really truly.
Why the hell are you looking at him?
Things to happen, like volcanoes erupting, fissures opening up, like bottomless chasms, and meteors falling down, splintered from the Chaos Moon. And we would like that to change the campaign map rather permanently.
Why are you
to provide
looking
different
at
gameplay
it?
there once that change happens.
Oh, you're
For certain,
French. I
it will
can't
be
too
triggered in
mad
some
at you.
cases by the
You can't
game.
help
In some
yourself.
instances, the AI factions will be able to wield it like a super weapon. In some cases, the player themselves will be able to use them. But like there will be examples in the lore we would like to really show visually, and also with music. We are writing bespoke music for those events. Like when a certain endgame scenario happens, you as a player will know you're in this moment that things are
There are still factions that are not in the Warhammer world in it that still, like the Southern Realms, like Astalia, Talea, like all these are completely different from the Empire because of their geographical location and where they exist on the world. They're completely different, right? Like the dwarves in the world in mountains and the dwarves near the north, like completely different from each other. Like, where's Nippon? Where's the Hmong? Like, where's Araby? Where's End and the Eastern Beastmen? Right? Fuck, just where's Albion? Where the fuck are the Amazons? Where are these factions that are in the game, in the lore? That, okay, maybe you can't, maybe you have to kind of, you know, fluff a couple things just to add to the roster. This is the problem. I guess there's just no one in Creative Assembly that is creative and can add mechanics and can add things. Like, I feel like what's going to happen with Nagash is they're just going to shove together mechanics that have already existed. And like, okay, well, this is Nagash now. Okay, maybe he gets couple new units, couple new lores of magic that operate slightly different than what's already in the game. But what the fuck is new?
changing. Like the visuals of the campaign map will change, the mood there, the music, and just the color palette and the special effects around the campaign map will be different. And also in the battle maps, there will be different skyboxes.
Oh my god, can we get off this? I don't care anymore. I get it. I fucking get it. You're talking about literally anything but mechanics and the things distract. Can we get off this? Oh, it'll look pretty. Okay, cool. Oh, it'll sound pretty cool.
Close to the,
I mean, that's the bare fucking minimum.
We'll be able to see that on battle maps. And all these new images and visuals we hope to really show.
If they talk about the
lava
visuals
and
one more
wildfires
time.
and craters and pits, and so this will be affecting actual game. It's not just cosmetic. This will be affecting actual gameplay on the campaign.
Yes. On the campaign map, the provinces will work in a different way after a cataclysmic events has happened to
finally,
them.
something interesting.
There will be also different battle maps.
I'm okay with that, but our jungles.
Cringe.
Realms of Chaos battlefields and Devastation is cool. I really admire them. What I'm most excited about personally is the narrative chains that we're preparing for the new lords we're introducing, and also some of the existing lords, to be perfectly frank. And I'm really, really curious and excited as a Total War player to see how we will be able to tell the story of Nagash's rise to power and his domination over the world, while still retaining the sandbox and retaining that player agency and the player choice.
So, regardless of which character you're picking, you'll have the ability to get involved in these storylines of like the rise of Nagash and stuff, even though you're playing such and such way on the other side of the planet. You can, if you want, you can get really involved with these storylines.
Well, yeah, if you're not playing as Nagash, it's very likely that you will have to survive the rise of power of Nagash. Whereas if you play as Nagash, you will be the one that rises to power step by step while you are doing your conquest and your spread of corruption and the extinguishing of life around you.
Excellent. So, for a lot of us players, this is incredibly exciting, and there's a lot of changes and just wild things happening, and everything's quite literally on fire. And although we've touched a little bit on it, just to be kind of clear when it comes to the Endtimes as an experience, this is still focusing on that sandbox experience of Total War Warhammer. It's not purely narrative, but it has narrative aspects, but it's still sticking to the core fundamentals.
Yeah, as you know, Total War is a storytelling machine, and we want players.
I mean, it's more of a strategy game, but the stories are fine. But okay, you have, say, the gameplay loop, which is like the overworld battle map, building up cities, building up your armies, along with the real-time strategies that is there. But then you have the hook, which again depends if it's historical or if it's fantasy. I can only speak on fantasy, but the hook is interesting factions with interesting monsters that do interesting things and interesting magics, right? The story, I'd say, is the story though? I mean, because again, if you've read all the books, and if you've read the manuals, and if you read the Monster Arcanas, and if you read all of these, I mean, you already know the story. The game just sort of says, oh, hey, here's Grombrindle, have fun. You already know his story. And we're going to make certain quest chains that sort of dabble in that, but for the most part, you get cool weapons and cool mechanics and cool units, and you fuck shit up, and you have the grudge mechanic. Same thing with ogres. You have the meat mechanic, which is like the other parallel economy, where you make camps and they take meat to upgrade, but you still conquer the overworld. Now you can't really build them up as much, but you can still rake some money from them. Then you have another trade. If you play Croesus, he effectively you can snowball his economy with gold, to where you can make a lot of armies and get a lot of shit, after a while, and you get a lot of land. But you also have the aesthetic of the ogres, which they're big, meaty, smashy boys, right? I mean, there's not really a story with Greece, as he's very one note. Same thing with Bretonia, but again, with Grombrindle, you can have something like that, and I guess that could also be like a hook. But it doesn't really translate all that well, because after a while, you just care for, like, the stories is just a means to get better items for your main lord, and specific items for your main lord, and nothing else. You don't really read the text.
To be able to still tell their own stories through the sandbox nature that we offer. So with the Endtimes now featuring in Immortal Empires, it's going to be exactly that. You can go ahead and, as we talked about earlier, play as Archaon and destroy this world, end it completely. But on the flip side, we want to let you have those different stories, also things that maybe didn't happen, but you'd like to think how they might have played out, with Nagash taking over the world and bringing death to it, or whatever else you can think of for that matter.
I know many people who are going to be hopping right into Karl Franz Saves the Day.
Hope so.
We're exploring different apocalyptic
But
scenarios.
what about Grease's Goldtooth saving the day, bro? Ogre game. Well, I mean, he doesn't really save shit except all that meat, right? And hey, you may even be the meat. Like, when I'm playing Greases and I just beat the fuck out, just kill Archaon, or not Archaon, well, what if you do kill Archaon, right? If you just keep traveling up north into the Chaos Waste, beat the fuck out of Kolek, Chaos Dwarves, you eventually you touch Archaon, you beat the fuck out of him, and you loop all the way around to where Norska is. Or maybe you go south, you beat the fuck out the vampire counts, okay, maybe you kind of leave the Chaos, no, you beat the fuck out the Chaos Dwarves down there. Hey, let's say maybe for some reason you just beat the shit out of Emmerich. Because fuck him. What? Just fuck him. Like, half the time he's useless anyway when I play ogres. Like, bro, I have all the lands around him and he just sits there. It's like, bro, if you're not going to do anything, you're going to become the meat, right? You either have beef with my enemies or you become the beef, right? And then you go down there. Obviously, you killed Nurgle already. Assuming you killed the orcs, because you're eventually going to have to fucking kill them. And now you're, like, in the world in mountains type deal. And, okay, you leave the dwarves alone. Because, I don't know. And now you're kind of arcing around where Nagashazar is. Beat the fuck out of them. And now you're the Tomb Kings. Why don't you just beat the shit out of them? Just literally just raise the Black Pyramid. And you've done that, and then what? Is it going to be another unusual scenario thing where they just come back because the game wants to just to spawn 1,000 armies? Because that's not fun. Like, what would be fun is okay, big bad shit is about to happen. So you're being proactive. You're like, okay, I'm a power down this chain to get a specific unit that can deal with, like, I don't know, like Chaos Chosen, right? Like you get crap ton of man-eaters, or you can deal with like the Tomb Kings and their chariots. So you get, the damn Crushers with the dual weapons, or two-handed weapons, right? What specific preparations do you do in anticipation to the end time? So where it happens, you're either fully prepared or you're not prepared, and it's an uphill battle.
That could have ended the world in the canon, but didn't, because we all know Chaos won. But we're looking for other what-if possibilities that could have happened.
Well, that is all.
What if the ogres rule the world, or what if Bretonnia rules it, and the world is nothing but fields of farms where you give 9/10 to the Lord, and you pay for the feet pics of the fucking Lady of the Fae's fucking OnlyFans. Like, that would be a world worth fighting for, right? That's what I always fucking do with Bretonnia. Right, but I just fill that shit with farms and peasants and royal knights. Just the way God intended.
Extremely exciting stuff in my very, very biased but professional opinion. But beyond the end times, is there anything else we all can be looking forward to for Total War Warhammer?
So, one very important thing that we're all quite excited about to announce is that with the release of the Lord of the Endtimes pack, you no longer need to own Warhammer 1 or Warhammer 2 or Warhammer 3 to experience the Immortal Empires. You can purchase just one of the packs and you will gain access to the Immortal Empires, where you can play with what you have purchased against everything else that's in the companion. So you can purchase...
Yeah, I say that's just a good thing. Now, granted, assuming everyone have already bought the 3 games, whatever, but, what's the new Lord? That free Lord? Because I'm probably just going to play the new free Lord. I don't feel like paying effectively the price of another game just to get what? A new Lord, I guess, new mechanics for Archaon. I think this is a good thing. Again, the consumer rallied to have this done. Like, it's stupid to have to buy 3 games just to play 1 game. That's stupid. Right? So, I guess this is fine.
Just Nagash from your shirt, and you can play as Nagash from your shirt in the Immortal Empires and extinguish the life in this doomed world.
So a Nagash Stan can just come in, buy just this, get whole Immortal Empires, and just go crazy, and then be like, job done.
Yeah, again, I don't blame Sotek. He's trying to kind of keep the hype, but you kind of just asking softball questions. I'd be like, okay, what mechanics does he have? Is he like, or maybe they're not allowed to really talk about it, but how will Nagash himself, early game, interact with the world? Are you a complete goddamn nobody until you get the Black Pyramid? You're a complete nobody and Nagash's are. But, again, you have Nagash specific units. Like, maybe Nagash himself is a weakling or ish, but he's a good caster, right? And you have access to decent units, and you can kind of fuck with other factions that kind of build up, or you can subjugate other vampire factions, and then from there you can kind of spread. It'd be west to where the Black Pyramid is. You know, go to the World End Mountains, just completely, you know, subjugate all of them. I think there's like one vampire faction there that you can either subjugate or beat the fuck out of. I don't know, can you subjugate? Will you be able to subjugate the Tomb King's early game? Probably not. But again, once you get to the pyramid, or do you just start out at the pyramid? You kind of just start out overpowered as fuck, or have access to everything and you're just building up. Because I think that'd just be a boring campaign if you just start out overpowered. Like, you need that delayed gratification, you need that struggle to make it a sandbox campaign, go building up to it. Then when it happens, then you blow your top.
Exactly. This is an exciting moment for us all because we're lowering the entry point barrier for all of the players. So we're hoping to introduce new players that want to experience all this magnificent spectacle that the Immortal Empires and Warhammer 3
just thought, oh yeah, we'll lower it.
Well, that is just amazing. I'm so excited to see all of this come to fruition, all of your incredible hard work. Thank you so much to Rich, Victor, and Todor for joining me here to discuss the end times and what all it...
I kind of understand why he's not asking her tough questions. I mean, he's probably been vetted on what he can and can't ask. They probably have vetted on what they can and can't answer.
It's bringing to us in the future, which is just... Oof, can't wait. Thank you everyone so much at home for joining us. We hope that you had a good time, and we will see you around.
Well, that's one of the... I don't know. My final thoughts... I don't know. I guess I'll probably just play the Free Lord. I don't know. Shit. I play ogres again and again and again and again with every update. Bretonia again and again and again. Nurgle again and again and again. Just restart with them. Meh. It's just meh. Like, again, they have yet to even discuss the price, which is important. You know, people want to know if the value proposition is there.